All right, folks, welcome to the first live video recording for ADJV Gaming. I am Johnny V, and joining me, as always, is my partner.
Andy D, how's it going?
It is fantastic. I can't wait to talk about all these new points. It's going to be a fantastic, amazing time. I'm excited. So many changes. So many changes.
I'm just happy that we actually get our first video, so that our faces are going to be here.
Yeah, we went through a lot of hard work getting this to work. It's been we've been at this for the better part of the last half hour, trying to get this going. So we're pretty hyped about this. So let's jump right in. We're gonna run through all of the cards, all of the pilots, all of the upgrades, all of the skills, everything that got a point increase or decrease in the first points balancing, I guess is what we're calling this.
I think we should also give a shout out to Gold Squadron for putting together this spreadsheet for us, because I mean for everyone basically, because this is fantastic to go through. So easy,
making our job so much easier. Instead of having to troll out the data ourselves, somebody else has done it for us. So big props to the people doing our homework for us.
I'll make sure to thank Dion in person when I see him as the system open.
I'm excited to meet Dion. That's for
sure.
Sure.
It'll be fantastic. It'll be like meeting celebrities. Celebrities. All right, let's get into this.
All right, we're going to jump right in and start with the first. We're going to go through this. We're going to go from Rebels, Empire, Scum. We're going to do Resistance, First Order, and then Generics. And then we'll cover variable upgrades. So we're going to jump right in, and we're going to start. Andrew, what are we starting with?
Right with the B-Wings from Rebels. 10 num.
We're going to start with 10 num. All right, there you go. You got the big 10 num card on the screen. And this is what we're going to start with. Before this week, he was 50 points. Now, he has 46 points. It's a 4-point change. That's
almost a tenth of his price.
8%. 8%. So big props to the math guys doing the homework for that one too, because I couldn't figure that one out on the fly.
Yeah, the B-Wings. I've flown against them a little bit and stuff before. They feel like they're just on the verge of or they just felt before like they were just on the verge of making their way into. I mean, 4 hull, 4 shields, 3 attack. It's a solid fighter. I mean, the agility obviously gets it, and its maneuver dial obviously gets it as well. But for 46 points, that seems pretty decent. You throw a little bit of elusive on there, and then you're running with it.
It makes the ship much more palatable with the slots on the B-Wing, right? I mean, talent sensor, 2 cannons, a torpedo, and a mod slot. Now, fully kitted out B-Wing, that's going to run you now, 85, 90 points in around that range. I mean, that's less than half the list, so there's still a lot of room to play with.
Yeah, I think probably for them it's just probably best to keep them really cheap, especially if you can get a 4 of Rebel list.
Oh yeah, definitely makes it more palatable to do that now. I mean, with 10 num being the second highest pilot, it definitely, as cost, it allows you to play with those 4 ship lists without being fully kitted. I mean, really, you're not going to fly a fully kitted out B-Wing, right? I mean, there's going to be some empty slots, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. How many blues could you get? That's 41 points on its own, right?
Blues 41, so 4 base blues with nothing. That'd run you 160?
Yeah. Well, approximately, yeah. Yeah, that's not too bad. And then throwing a little something. I don't know. I'm not an especially known to fly Rebels ever. But...
Well, I mean, let's put this in perspective. Even with the no. You could almost run 4 blues with protons. With this change. That's obviously an almost because of the point change, but we'll get to that a bit later. But that's still even 3 blues with with protons. That's a bit more dangerous. You know, I mean, yes, they don't have that agility, but they have that extra hull, that extra shield, and they pack a punch.
Yeah, I think we'll actually end up seeing at least one or two of these B-wings making their way to the board. I'd really like to see it. I like to see variety in the ships that make it to the board. So
yeah, I mean, I've been flying X-wing now for a year, and the collection I bought end of last January, I think, when I bought my collection. I've had a B-wing the entire time. It's never seen the table. Never seen the table.
I think it's time to dust it off.
It is definitely palatable to dust it off now. That's for sure. So we've covered 10. Let's move on to the next B-wing. And
two B-wings at once.
Yeah, apparently we decided to show both B-wings. That's wasn't exactly the way I had it planned. There we go. That's better. Braylon Stram.
Yeah, looking at these abilities, they seem really strong. I mean, like I said, you keep them like they are, throw some elusive on them, and have them just functioning with some rerolls on their one green die. Maybe you're shooting at range 3, and then perhaps you're pulling up a lot of damage with that. You've got a lot of hull and shields to chew through on these things. So
yeah, I mean, and Braylon especially is a much more dangerous potential fighter. What with his innate pilot skill, right? I mean, that's reroll 2 dice when you're stressed opens up the table for that, that focus barrel roll.
Absolutely. Oh
yeah. Is this something you wouldn't really think of to use very often in a beam? I mean, Braylon's the exception because, of course, his ability, you're going to do that anytime you can, really. But that point cost makes it a lot different. He only went down 3 points though. So he's still he was on par with 10 none. That's something you don't see very often is, pilots that were on equal footing getting differential drop.
Especially ones that weren't really seen, but I guess, they were obviously weighting his ability a little bit higher than 10 nums. So.
Yeah, I think that's what it boils down to. That ability, at 46 points, that ability has the potential to be a game changer all day long.
Yeah.
And that's, you don't, I mean, of course, he's a named pilot, so you can only have one of him, but, that opens up the door for him to be out there with some pretty dangerous pilots. And I think Braylon might be a pilot I'm going to be doing some tinkering with in the next little bit. Try and get that B-wing out there.
Yeah, well, I always got a few extra B-wings you're more than welcome to use if you'd like to shoot. They're not getting any use out of me, so.
I could ask you for any Rebel ship, and it's not getting much use from you.
This is true. Then we got the Blade Squadron veteran and the Blue Squadron pilot. I don't think we really need to pull those up, but we can talk about the points change, 44 to 43, 42 to 41 for the blue. Like, I don't think we're seeing much of a difference. I don't know if we'll even see them on the board at that. Maybe, as a little something extra. But because I'm really looking at those name pods, because you're looking at a drop from like 4-point drop and a 3-point drop rather than the 1 point. Like, if it wasn't being on the board before, then perhaps it's not going to be again, but you never know.
I mean, I think the Blade Squadron you'll definitely see more of than the Blue Squadron, just because you're spending 2 extra points, but you're getting that talent slot, and that that makes it a lot of difference at a 2-point, 2-point equity there.
Mm-hmm. All right, what else we got coming up here, Johnny?
Well, we're gonna move on to the ARC 170, and their lovely.
There's no changes there whatsoever. In fact, we can go all the way down to the attack shuttle, Sabine Wren.
We are jumping. It's one of those things. You're looking at the point changes, and you keep reading, even with the zeros. You never stop. All right, we're gonna jump to Sabine Wren in the attack shuttle.
I think my boy Jesse, I think he's going to be a little disappointed in this one, but we pretty well figured that it was going to happen.
Oh yeah, we knew she was going to get a boost. Now that's a fair increase. I mean, that's a 10.5% point upgrade.
Yeah.
So,
it's just, and you know what the most interesting part is that she actually jumped above Ezra.
Yeah, that is not something you'd expect to see, right? I mean, Ezra has that force ability. Yeah, and that those force charges can be the difference in a battle. I mean, we've all seen that those. We've all had a match where the difference is one force charge versus no force charge.
I just hate not being able to juke them.
It's definitely a wonderful addition to have. And Sabine, you hit it there. Sabine was the add-on ship. She was that. You've got 40 points left. Throw Sabine out there, and you'll still have a 2-point bid. And Sabine has some nasty equity. I mean, she's only got 4 hull, but that 3-2 attack agility, that's not something to shake your head at.
Yeah, well, 3 points, 3 hull, 1 shield, right? 4 points of health, but her action economy was just awesome for what she was able to do, and that boost barrel roll beforehand is fantastic. So, yeah, I mean, 4 points up, I'm sure she'll still find some play. I mean, especially in the bunch of Rebel good stuff kind of lists where it's like a bunch of different ships. Jesse was playing a really good one, where it's just a bunch of different little Rebel ships that were doing a decent amount of work on their own, right? A few Y-Wings, Blount, Sabine, the Ezra. He tried to pile as many. He really felt that the Force users were something to be matched with, so he just would put as many of them as he could in a list. So and it flew pretty well.
It worked for him in certain instances. I mean, we all had games where you blow them off the table regardless of that Force ability, but it's definitely helpful to have it than not have it. That's for sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, moving on. Let's jump right into the Y-Wings, which every single Y-Wing got cheaper.
Indeed, it did. And we're going to start, as always, we're going to go from top to bottom on this list. So we're not going to be going in point order. So we're just going to jump right in. Dutch Vander is the first one we're going to talk about here.
All right, what are you thinking about this guy right now?
I think that 3-point drop is big for Dutch. I mean, Dutch was a ship you were already seeing on the table a lot on Rebel lists that had a Y-Wing. Dutch and Horton, those were the two that you saw most of, or at least that I've seen most of. And Dutch taking that drop, that's pretty big with that, allowing another ship to lock on a target as well. Dutch is a ship you want out there.
Now, I wonder how it works now with the utility of it. I mean, he was really great for strapping those proton torpedoes to your X-Wings and then supporting them. I mean, they're going up in price a bit, right? So we'll have to see, but still, it's a great ability. Action economy is where it's at, right? So
absolutely. I mean, that the fact you've got that, 2 target lock action still at 38 points. In a bomber list, that's huge. Even in a non-bomber list, getting out there with a Luke or a Wedge, those kind of guys that you often see Dutch flying with, is definitely something you want to have.
Mm-hmm. Yep, these Y-Wings are going to be scary.
They definitely are. All right, and we're gonna move on from Dutch. And we are going to move to Nora Wexley.
Geez, 5 pilot skill. Jeez. See, this is where Jesse threw Nora in. She's fantastic with supporting his other ships.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that, keeping it as a formation ship, Nora is definitely one you want out there. That ability to add an evade, is huge. I mean, especially in and amongst a Y-Wing, a swarm of Y-Wings. Any Y-Wing at 0 to 1, you automatically get that evade. And that can be a huge difference. The difference between keeping a ship on the board and off the board can be that one evade Nora gives you.
Mm-hmm. Yep. No, she's good.
She's definitely good, and only going down 2 points, dropping her down to 41. Yeah, that's a good ship to have out there. I mean, is she more useful than Dutch? Well, that's debatable on the list, but as a swarm, if you're flying 4 Ys or 3 Ys and an X or something like that, then she's definitely somebody you want on that table.
Oh yeah, she'll be great to help keeping things surviving.
Oh, she definitely will. All right, and now we're going to move on to Next pilot on this, and that is Horton.
Here's a who.
He did not hear a who. He saw he saw a psalm.
He saw a psalm. Yes, fair. All right. While you perform an attack, you may reroll one attack die for each other friendly ship at range 0 to 1 of the defender. Yeah, I wonder what's going to look like how many Y-wings we could get out there with some good support for each other. What kind of damage that can be bringing. I mean, I've already heard about talking about 5, I think, of the lower Y-wings where you have like double tapping between the turrets, like a dorsal turret and then veteran turret gunner.
Yep.
But yeah, this could be something.
Oh yeah, the dropping in prices on the Y-wings. I mean, it's definitely appropriate. I mean, you saw that bombers were so cost effective on the Imperial side, and then you look across the table to the Rebels, and it didn't have that same oomph.
Yeah, slightly. You know, they were around, those bombers, those Imperial bombers.
Oh, they were definitely around. All right, we're gonna move on from Horton, and we're going to go to Evan.
Oh, look, both of them again. Oh, there we go. Yeah, just a 1-point drop from this one. From, what was it, 34 to 33?
Yep, 36 to 35.
Oh, yes, 36 to 35, sorry. Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, it's still a drop, but it's only a 1-point drop. But, I mean, that's just to bring it in line. You can't very well have, you know, Evan as 1 point less than Horton.
Jesse also used this one too, because I remember him using this one to pump up Blount and just dish out so many attack dice. Actually, throw it over to your attack shuttle. Like this was a main portion of his list, really putting in some extra damage. So it got really scary if you got close to it. Actually.
Well, I mean, I think Evan is more. You know, he's a much better ship to have in that support role. You know, kind of like Nora. You know, the ability to re-roll that defense die. You know, that's definitely, you know, that additional defense die is huge, especially on Y-wings, right? I mean, going from 1 to 2, that's quite a big difference. You know, especially if you end up with a range 3 shot. You know, then you're suddenly looking at, you know, likely a 3 versus 3 shot, depending on who's against you. That makes a difference.
Oh yeah, especially when you're beefy, right?
Oh, absolutely. And all right, to round out the Ys, we've got the generics. The Gold Squadron Veteran and the Gray Squadron Bomber, both dropping 1 point, 34 to 33 for the Veteran, and 32 to 31 for the Bomber. So you just got to keep them in line, right? You can't have the generics be anywhere close to the named pilots, really. I mean, the Veteran, you can get away with that because, you know, he has that talent slot, so he's kind of that generic ace.
Yeah, they're scaling the points just like usual.
Exactly. So I mean, you gotta keep that par. You gotta keep it. All right, we're gonna go from Y's to K. We're playing the alphabet dance here.
Yeah.
And we are going to go to Asej. To Tukatu.
Tukatu. There we go.
Asegi Tukatu. I have no idea how to pronounce that first name, but the last name I got. You know, Tukatu. That's not hard, but, you know, 3 E's and S's and a G. Can I buy a consonant? Yeah,
well, I mean, I'm surprised my mouth is even working, you know, after 13 hours of work today and then coming on home. So, but, man, you know, I think they were any ship that really was making the scene in 1.0. I almost feel like they really want to push the limit to, you know, get them out of there a little bit just so we could see some variety in different ships being seen on the board. But, you know, a few things pushed a little further. I mean, I did see a Miranda list. I haven't seen this one out. But, you know, I think they're now trying to reduce those prices a little bit to try to bring them back into the scene a little bit, you know, but slowly, not to overpower it. So
yeah, you got to try and make them somewhat palatable because, I mean, you were right on there, you know. Well, Tukatu wasn't, you know, he wasn't the go-to K, you know, I mean, and that's pretty obvious. But, you know, it's definitely, you know, going from a 50-point ship down to a 47-point ship, that's, you know, that's fairly big for a K-Wing. A ship that it is almost, the K-Wing is almost that dual purpose, support bomber.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
And
a jack of all trades. I mean, it could do quite a few different things. It's got still a decent price attached to it, but
definitely making it a bit more palatable.
I think they're still worried a little bit about the action economy right here, right? I mean, you got ways to produce all those target locks. You got ways now to send the focus around, and especially when you don't have to worry too much when you have the dual turrets. You can be flying around and still getting some decent shots in. And if you're passing focus at the same time, like that could be pretty dangerous.
Oh yeah, you definitely want that action economy to be more equal across the board, right? You don't want one ship being that literal jack of all trades. You do need to be a support ship, or you need to be an attack ship, and 2 definitely fits into that support ship. All right, 0 to 2, you basically pass around focus tokens, and that's can definitely be a very helpful skill, right? I mean, especially if you were to add the perceptive co-pilot, giving you those 2 focus tokens.
Mm-hmm.
You can pass that off to every ship.
Yeah, good point. Can this ship take a crew?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good idea.
So I mean, that's a pretty good pairing right there that I hadn't thought of until just the things you think about when you're actually doing something.
Oh, the brain is working. Do you got one of these? These were hard to find.
I do actually. I did get a K-Wing. It's in the table once.
Well, time to bring her back out. Yeah, I think we're onto something right here. I mean, I'm not going to fly it, but
yeah, that 2/2 with the perceptive might actually be something that might see the table in the next few weeks for me, I think.
Yeah, that could be really fun. I want to see this next week. Bring it.
It'll definitely be out there. We're gonna move on now to, well, if we're talking K-Wings, you have to talk about her, Miranda.
Oh my God, the K-Wing that outlasted all the other K-Wings forever and a day. She was so dangerous.
Oh, she was the K that I flew. It was Miranda.
Yeah, no surprise.
No surprise at all. Dropped from 48 down to 45. That's a pretty big drop for Miranda, especially with what she was doing in the first edition comparably to what she's been doing now. I mean, I've already seen her on the board, so I think more point drop definitely puts her in a position where you could see her out there. Oh, for sure. I mean, in 1.0 towards the end there, she was, she was definitely one of those ships you saw all the time. And now you hardly see her at all. I mean, with the exception of the one time I flew her since 2.0 hit, I don't think I've ever seen a K-Wing on the table with our group.
She could still be really dangerous, though. Range 1, you're pumping out 4 dice, especially if she's tokened up. That's pretty decent, so...
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's definitely, potential. The potential is still strong with Miranda. Don't sleep on her. I mean, yes, the point value was not that good. For all the K-Wings, all the named K-Wings anyway, they weren't that good. So you did have to pick and choose where you went, and with the beef up of, making X-Wings more flyable and Y-Wings and ships like that, it definitely, I think we'll be seeing more of the K going forward than we have to this point, and that's fairly obvious.
Mm-hmm. And then to tie her off, we got the Warden Squadron from 40 to 37. That's actually a pretty decent drop too, 3 points. Maybe we'll see some of these out there as well. I think the named ones, I think we're already, as we started to talk about them, the gears are turning for some lists, but especially Tukatu with that quick talk. But yeah, maybe we'll see him. But coming up, this is, I think every Rebel player must be really, really happy to see this. I know I would have been happy if, I saw it on my Defenders, but...
Yeah, it definitely is much, seeing the Ks in an actual palatable point value is quite nice. The wheels are churning, as you said. But let's move on from the Ks, and we're going to keep playing alphabet soup. We're going to move on to the E's.
Oh, God. These things are going to be scary. What a crazy point drop for Corrin.
who just so happens to be the first guy we're talking about.
Yep.
That Initiative 5 Corrin Horn going down 8 points from 74 to 66. This is one of those ships that they went too far the wrong way.
Yeah, I think so. I agree, but we're gonna see these. We're gonna see Corn. I can guarantee you at some of our next events coming up. I mean, I already flew against these a little bit. They weren't at all doing what they need to be doing, but for that kind of a drop, that's pretty insane.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think there's going to be some interesting ways to try and get Corrin back, with the changes they made, right? I mean, in 2.0 now, it's a disarm token that you get. If you can find a way to get rid of that, there's, might suddenly make him a much more interesting ship.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any way to lose the disarm, but double tapping.
The double tap is still
fantastic.
huge. I mean, and you're right. Right now, I don't think there is necessarily a way to remove that disarm, but at some point, I think there will be.
That'd be pretty crazy. That'd be pretty dangerous if they did something like that.
Oh, absolutely. But I mean, I think eventually you'll see some expensive astromech or something of that sort that lets you do some fancy things, or a pilot that will take it on themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to pass that around to another pilot, taking on that burden. The intriguing things. Who knows what we'll see in the future? Because if we talk about the future, then we'll never finish the today. So we're gonna finish.
Jeez. Oh, 7-point drop for the next one.
Indeed.
So jealous.
A lot of the E-wing saw the biggest drops, across the board. Gavin is the next one we're going to talk about. He went from 68 to 61.
Yeah, some of the biggest drops at least.
No ship drop, no E-wing dropped less than 7 points. Yeah, that's huge.
One hit result to a crit. Yeah. This guy could definitely be dangerous.
Absolutely, there's definitely some danger in Gavin.
Yeah, I think Corn is still where people are looking at mostly for his ability, but that
double
Gavin,
tap that double tap that Corrin's got is huge, but Gavin as a support ship is definitely going to see some play even at a 61 point value.
Yeah, that's solid.
All right, we're going to round out the E's with the Rogue Squadron Escort and the Knave Squadron Escort, who respectively dropped from 63 to 56 and 61 to 54.
All right. And let's get at these Hawks that needed so badly this increase, especially their title, actually. Because, man, these things were scary. They wanted to put them on the board, and they succeeded.
Yeah, see, I think the scary thing is the title, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Once we get to our other, portion. We're going to start, of course, with the Hawk everyone knows. The Hawk you see most. Kyle Katarn.
Yep. You can talk about this one. I don't like these things.
Well, Katarn went up a point. Now it's only 1 point. He went from 38 up to 39. So it's not an unpalatable increase. However, add in that title, and you're looking at a completely different discussion. I think you're going to be seeing a lot less Hawks than you saw before, just because.
Yay! Good.
And of course, kind of allows you to toss around those focus tokens, which is potentially a huge asset. But now at the additional cost of himself plus that title, which is pretty much a must play if you have a Hawk on the table.
Yeah.
And we're going to move to the next one, and that would be Janors, who also went up. She went up 2 points, from 42 up to 44. That's
a good ability too, Jesse. Like I said,
really
man, I have to talk about Jesse so much because he was flying all this stuff together.
He really was. He saw a lot of the interplay between a lot of these ships that a lot of us didn't necessarily see quite so much. So now that we're actually spending our time looking at it, it's like, wow, he was onto something. And then the point change happened, and I'm sure his list is now like
it's
a
gone.
220 point list.
Yeah, now it's all gone. So sad. It won't be missed.
not by you, Imperial scum.
No, he beat me a few too many times, and I would feel comfortable about it. So.
All right, so we're gonna go from Jan on to the last named Hawk, and that's Rourke Garnett.
Yeah, the guy who
increase.
made everything happen for what's his name? Jeez.
That's not
Dash.
helpful. There you go.
Double tapping dash, pod skill 7. I'm happy that doesn't exist anymore.
There's a lot of things we're glad don't exist anymore. It's just like there's a lot of things players wish still existed that didn't exist, especially those of us that flew it. You know, TLT Ghost, I'm talking about you. Always in my heart, baby.
Boo. No TLTs. Never again. Shouldn't even be mentioned.
You will always be in my heart, TLT. TLT forever.
God.
I'm going to take my TLT 1.0 card and just put it on the front of my card binder so that every time I'm out, you have to see it. Just remind you.
Man, that's horrible.
Remind you of that hurt every time you see it.
Yep.
And Rourke went up 5 points from a 38 up to a 43.
That's a strong ability. I wonder if they'll just be kept around and put on the board just for their abilities rather than the title. I wonder if that'll be a thing.
But a 43-point ability, that's an awful big cost.
Yeah, I don't know about Rourke, but maybe Jan Ors, maybe Kyle. Like maybe seeing those guys out there, but I don't know about Rourke. It's going to have to be very niche-y.
Yeah, you're definitely going to be seeing a lot more specificity going into your lists to get those. That's our last named Hawk. The last one was the Rebel Scout that went up 1 point.
Yeah, that's fair.
So now we're going to move on to the ship everyone knows. Of course, we're talking the Millennium Falcon.
What a crazy drop it went to, starting with Lando, I'm guessing.
Indeed. Let's make sure I got the right Lando. I got the right Lando. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's insane. 12 points down. And his ability is good, too.
Yeah, there's a lot of huge point drops. The Falcon took a huge drop in points across the board. That's a huge one. Lando being able to hand out, free actions at 0 to 3, that's huge. That's absolutely huge.
Well, 1.0, these large ships really had their time, and I think they really were being very careful with these dual turrets. They weren't too sure exactly what they were going to mean on the board for this new, in second edition, as well as the idea that you're looking at a lot of hull, a lot of shields. Weren't too sure where everything was going to go. So I think they were priced really, really high. We never saw them, right? So except for a very, very few amount of large ships, but now I think we might see things come into fruition for these ones, especially the YT 1300.
Yeah, I mean, outside of threat level events, you didn't really see the Falcon just because of that, that expensiveness of it. I'm glad to see it get a bit more appropriate point equity, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And next one we got is Chewie.
He went down a ton, too. Jeez, he's really, really cheap, actually.
11 points from 84 down to 73.
Yeah, 73 is a good price for him.
It absolutely is. I mean, especially with that ability.
Yep. That definitely puts
a crit killer.
More survivability for sure.
It's a crit killer. I mean, unless you get one of those lucky, multi-crit rolls, you're going to be losing. You're going to be missing. The dice. The dice variance, of course, is different in every roll, but the odds of rolling, more than 2 or 3 crits over the course of an entire round of attacks is not that high. So being able to just laugh in the face of one of them is huge.
Yeah. Yeah. No, these I really hope to see these ships, these iconic ships. I hope get on the board. I think this will really help them get there. So, especially with the increase on protons, that's the ordnance would kill and just destroy these things. But with their points going up and large ships dropping so much, I really hope that's enough to make them see some play.
Oh, for sure. I can't wait to. I will certainly be trying on some different some Falcon lists in the future.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next up, of course, you've got the ace, the one true ace, the one true captain of the Millennium Falcon, Han Solo. Yeah, like we said, 10 points. That's huge.
I love the theme too. I love where they add like the range 0 to 1 of an obstacle. I mean, okay, it makes it a little more difficult to happen, but it's really cool though to have that idea that you're flying through and around rocks and everything like that, and that's how you're taking things out.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest though. The Falcon. How often do you see a Falcon without the trick shot? I mean,
Yeah.
it's definitely a huge asset to have is that trick shot. I mean, plus, occasionally you'll see that the cargo chute out there as well. For that back arc possibility you're guaranteed to get. It definitely makes a difference. And Han being able to reroll all his dice at range 0 to 1, that's big. The fact it doesn't count against, other rerolls. Like you can reroll, you can Han and then target lock. That makes a big difference on the table.
Yep. Yeah, no, I hope these things get out there. Between their crew options going down and their pilots going down, I think we'll see them. All right.
Yeah, there's a lot to see, but that's we've still got the smuggler who took a 9-point drop. I'll let you talk about the smuggler while I get the next card ready.
Yeah, 78 down to 69. I think the abilities are probably worth a little more to field them, but I mean, for 4 more points you get Chewbacca. So who knows? But you still can't field 3 of them, so that makes me happy. So.
All right, so we're gonna go back to the alphabet soup, and now we're going to the A wing, and Jake Farrell is first.
Yep. Little drop on everybody, but Jake going from 40 to 36, and he also gains a talent. They all get 2. I don't know what you're gonna put on them. Like, I'm no specialist when it comes to anything Rebel, like I said, but at least for the Resistance, you can throw down heroic. But I have no clue what you're gonna add for Rebels.
Yeah, I don't either. Without actually spending some time thinking about it and looking at the different skills and and different talents that you can add to the small ships, small rebel ships. Heroic would be lovely, but I guess the rebels weren't heroic. I don't know. That one doesn't make sense to me. That should have been a good guy card.
Yeah, I'm not too. I just don't know what I get the idea that they're trying to create theme within the different factions. I just don't know what you'll do with the next talent. But price drops for the A-wings. Go ahead, bring it on. Maybe we'll see some of them in play.
Yeah, because it's definitely a ship you didn't see very much of. And all right, next up is Arvel.
Yeah. Same deal, kind of feeling the same thing about him. He went down a couple points. Jake, for Arvel now 36 to 34.
I think at that point Arvel's the one you'll see more of. Just because of that primary attack at range 0, right? I mean, he's that blocker ship, and dropping down to a 34-point blocker that can fire on you while doing its job. That's exactly what you want all day.
Yeah. Kind of sucks that he's only initiative 3. Makes it kind of hard to really line those up, but being able to still bump and shoot, it's good.
I mean, we should point out that's a second talent slot on these A-wings.
Yeah, second talent.
So, I mean, it definitely... It's going to be interesting to see where you add that second talent slot.
I think they should have done an extra missile slot. Screw the talent. Take barrage rockets, enjoy, have a wonderful day, A-wings.
The only other A that took a point change was the Green Squadron pilot, who also went down 2 points.
Yep.
And now we're gonna jump.
Yeah, why we got. If you look online, some of these videos are crazy long. Now I know why they're crazy long. Like trying to go through every one of these at one chip at a time.
It is not easy to do.
Where's our next change? I think our next change is actually all the way over on the sheath bead for Zeb.
We're jumping all the way to the sheath bead. And that furball Zeb.
There you go, Zeb.
That's a nice change. A 2-point drop, so not monumental, but even still, 2 points on an already small, low-cost ship is... and for some reason I'm reading positives as negatives. That's a 2-point increase to bring it a bit closer to Ezra and Fenn. So from 32 up to 34.
Yeah.
And, it's still... is it going to be the Sheath PDC on the table? No, probably not. I mean, you're still more likely to see an AP5 or a Maul or Ezra. But, being able to reduce crits first is definitely... It's definitely an asset to have.
Keep you around for a little bit more.
Yeah, especially with a one-shield ship.
Yeah. And then straight on to AP5. I think this coordinate action is fantastic, actually. That's where their love is going to be there for them.
Oh, absolutely.
And AP5 rocks the coordinate.
He really does. I mean, you can coordinate a stressed ship, and that's a huge asset,
Oh, yeah. And it's good. And for a good... Excuse me, like you said, 30 to 32, that's a good price for a little support ship. I think this guy plus, maybe a Falcon, maybe an X-Wing, something like that, is going to be perfect, getting lots of action economy and being able to hit like a ton of bricks. So,
yeah, AP5 is definitely, you talked earlier about a ship you're paying those points just to have that ability. I think AP5 fits into that category perfectly well.
Mm-hmm.
32 points for that coordinate on a stressed ship. That's quite huge. And now we're jumping all the way down to the tie and Sabine again.
Just a quick note before we get there. Luke Skywalker in 62, still 62. It's interesting that where a lot of our Force users actually went down in price, they didn't touch him. I guess he was solid, and a lot of people were feeling good with him where he is. So yeah, I think he's a fair point cost.
Yeah, I mean the X-Wings, not a single T-65 suffered any point change at all. So I mean,
and then of course our Sabine here with her same Sabine ability.
And indeed, you see that across all of your Sabines. It's a 2-point increase here, so from 28 up to 30. So I mean, it's still that kind of, you have too many points for a bid, but not enough points for a normal ship. She's the one you call. 30 point ship. That's it. Plus that ability, like you said, that ability is definitely not one to shake your tail feathers at.
Yeah, your tail feathers.
That's right, your tail feathers.
They're so cool.
All right, and now we're jumping. Well, we just talked about Sabine, so let's talk about her ship, her normal ship. Not her ship, but the ship she is a crew member of.
That's a complicated way to get there.
That was a very complicated jump for what should have been a very easy and simple jump. So we're gonna jump to the VCX, the Ghost, the Ghosty, and we're going to start with the Ghosties Force using Kanan Jarrus.
Man, they did not get as much of a drop as I thought that they were going to get. But I guess they're fearful of that 4 attack dice.
I mean, it is dangerous, but I think they should have been brought more down. I mean, especially Kanan. A 6-point drop. I mean, it seems like a lot on paper, but 84 points is still a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think they're just so worried about them. We don't want to see the Ghost, like Fenn kind of things pop up again, because that was scary as all hell. So, no. I
think you're right. That's what they're afraid of. But at the same time, you've already built in a counter, and that's 0 agility. A
Yeah, well, I
native
mean that was
0
still around in
agility.
the first one too, so and that
Oh,
didn't do
you had one.
anything.
You had 1 agility in 1.0.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, there
Good.
was.
Good. Yeah, 0 agility. That's what I want to see.
So I mean, taking that native agility away, that's huge. I mean, you're going to be playing with rocks. You're going to be trying to manage your range, so you're not going to be punching in for that 5 dice primary. Otherwise you're facing the same. Obviously you're not facing 5, but you're facing a 3 to 4 dice primary with 0 defense.
Can this ship take a systems?
No.
I guess I could just scroll over and look. Yeah, no, you're right.
That would. But they did add a sensor.
A sensor, yeah. So you could take the collision detector, yeah?
That that only helps you with rocks, right?
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
you just fly right in. Now you don't care.
but I mean, you still had to worry about the dice variance for those, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's the difference. But it definitely does. Adding in that ability to carry that collision detector is huge for a ghost.
Yeah, so, well, 90 down to 84 for Kanan. What are we looking at for Hera here coming up?
Oh, the true pilot of the ghost.
Jeez, pot skill. I mean, initiative 5. That's what I meant to say. Initiative 5.
We've only
Being
been
able
at this
to-
since September.
Being able to, they can still K-turn, right? Like a big giant K-turn?
Oh, I've only flown a ghost in 2.0 once, and I'd be lying if I said I remember the dial.
I got a ghost around here somewhere. Yeah, there it is. All tucked away with the dust.
I think all your Imperial ships are tucked away with the dust, my friend.
No. Imperials are good. Rebels.
You're Rebel. Yeah. You see, you got me in my head.
Good.
You got
Yeah,
me in my
3
head.
points down for Hera. I wonder 73. That's not too bad. I wonder if we will see that.
It's definitely a bit more palatable than Kanan's, but I mean, that ability is good, but it is what it is. The ghost did not get any love. So we're going to keep with our named pilots, and we are now going to jump down to the droid, Little Chopper.
Chopper.
And he also saw a 2-point drop.
Yeah, down to 70. They're really, like I said, they're just very careful with these guys. The 4 tack dice, they're still trying to be gentle with. So that's what I think, at least. And there is some built-in ability there where you can do a bunch of different things.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely still a potentially scary ship, but at the same, it's not as scary as it once was. And yes, they do still have a red 4K.
Yeah, 2 jam tokens though. That could be something.
Yeah. That's,
I don't think I'd want that on any of my Imperial aces. So.
No, I would not. That's how you shut down a Whisper.
Yeah. And a few other guys. All right, what else we got here? And then we got the Lothal Rebel, 70 down to 68, right? So we'll see.
What it is. I mean, that one definitely there. I mean, the Lothal Rebel was the one you saw a lot of in 1.0, and dropping it down to 68, bringing it on par with those, with the Falcons and the other big ships, definitely means you might be seeing more of it on the table.
Yep. All right. Now, our wonderful YT 2400.
Indeed. And now we're going to stick with droids, I guess. That's the thing.
Lebo? Yep.
Lebo.
Yep. 98 down to 88. That's a significant drop. We might see this guy out there, actually.
Absolutely. I mean, regenerating calculate token, basically. That's, an asset to have all day long.
Yep. And he doesn't like crew. No crew for him.
No, he has a crew.
Lebo?
Yeah.
Is it Lebo who gets rid of the crew, or Who gets rid of the crew?
There's a crew listed on all of them in this list.
Yeah, he gets. The crew's in red though, so he loses the crew.
See, you got to add a background to that because you can hardly see it unless you're really looking. But okay, so yes, Lebo does lose the crew. You're right.
Yeah. So apparently he doesn't. He doesn't fly. He doesn't like flying with anyone.
Well, I mean, I think L3 taught us that droids don't like flying with people. So.
This is fair. We're just a bunch of meatbags.
Just a bunch of meat. No, that was HK.
Oh, right.
Yeah. L3 was all droid rights and.
Oh yeah, right.
Droids are people too, and all that weirdness. Right, let's move from them to the pilot everyone knows, Dash.
Yeah, he didn't get as much of a drop as I thought he'd get, only from 100 to 98. But I think with him already being seen, in the scene a little bit with Rourke backing him up, and I wonder if that was just a little afraid to drop him too much to see if he was going to make his way back into things.
Yeah, you don't want to decrease someone who's already seeing a bit of the meta.
Yeah, he wasn't winning event tournaments, or not too many of them, at least. But I think to some level he was disturbing things. That combination between Han Gunner and Rourke was not so nice, right? It's a design thing. I don't think it was ever designed to have that double shot, but I mean, it existed, but it doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, it's the tweaks, it's the turns. I mean, like you said, No Dash wasn't winning tournaments, but you saw him at tournaments. Mm-hmm. And there's really... He was already competitive. No point to really change that too much. He wasn't overly competitive or under-competitive. He was where he should be as that ship. And we're going to finish off the last Rebel pilot that suffered a change was, of course, the Wild Space Fringer, who went all down 2 points from 88 to 86.
Yep, exactly. All right, right into... Do we want to do upgrades, or maybe we just talk a little bit about our upgrades? We can post them quickly up on the board.
I think for upgrades, we'll just go a bit more, multiples on screen.
Okay. So let's pull up R2-D2.
So I'll pull up the droids. We'll talk about all of the droids that suffered changes, is what we'll do. R2. There you go. There's lovely R2.
Yep. R2-D2. Are we pulling up multiples at the same time, or just one at the time?
We're gonna pull up the. We're gonna pull
oh,
up
there
multiples. We go. At least two at a time, since that seems to be all the room we have. The R2 and R5, went up 6 points, both of them. No, they didn't.
Went up 6 points?
No, they did not. My category screen got shifted, so I was looking at the wrong slot.
Yeah, down to 6 points each of them, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how, but my columns got transposed, so the differential was in the cost. So I'm looking at the differential in the cost, and then that's an up, not down. Yep. When R2 went down 2, R5 went down 1. Yeah,
I don't know if it'll put it so we see these guys in play, but maybe we'll see R2-D2. I think R2-D2 on Luke might eventually be a thing if somebody unlocks how to fly it.
Yeah, it was definitely something you didn't see very much of yet, and I think now that's definitely going to change that a bit.
Mm-hmm. All right, what do we got now? We got some pilots. So we got Leia.
We're going to crew now.
Yeah, Leia, Baze,
Leia and Baze.
Whole bunch of them.
Leia and Baze went down a fair amount here, actually.
Leia, I think we're going to definitely see Leia. For 2 points, it's a steal.
Absolutely. I mean, being able to, at least once every 3 turns, being able to do free red maneuvers.
Yep.
That's huge with some of those ships, that have, that could potentially be really dangerous with a lot of things.
Oh yeah, definitely. And Baze, dropping right on down to 3, seems like a pretty decent ability.
Well, I mean, he's Han without he's Han with a limit. right? I mean,
Yeah.
Han gets you your evades, but Baze gets you your focuses. Adding that maximum, I think, is a good decision, but it definitely... I think we might actually see him on the table. Because, again, he's another one that I never saw on the table.
Yep. And then we got C-3PO and Lando Calrissian.
No, of course, you don't actually differentiate. Let's see, did I get the right R3PO? I did get the right 3PO.
Sweet. First time, works like a charm.
Nope, I did not get the right Lando, though.
Oh, never mind. I spoke too soon.
Wrong Lando. there we go.
It is.
That's better. Now, you want to talk about 2 points well spent. I had Lando and a few lists at 5 points and thought I was getting amazing point equity. Lando at 2 points, yes please, all day long, especially on some of those bigger ships.
Yeah, well, when he works, right, he works, for sure.
I mean, there's really no way for him not to work, though.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, even if your dice are cold and you double out and you double blank, you're still getting either a focus or an evade, depending on what your opponent wants to give you. But I mean, if you're rolling double focus or even, the cream of the crop roll, the focus evade, there's definitely a lot of potential there, that's for sure.
And C-3PO down from 12 to 8, definitely, maybe we'll see him. Kanan Jarrus and Maul.
Oh, that's Pilot Maul. We definitely don't need that Maul.
Oh, can't wait for him. Can't wait for him.
Neither can I, but that's a whole different show there for that one.
You even flying CIS when it comes, Separatist?
I'm definitely gonna give it a shake. That's for sure.
Sounds good. Yeah, Kanan dropping from 14 to 12. Maul 13, 11. Not huge changes. But
I think the difference is going to be dark side upgrades. Once we get a much clearer picture of what they are.
Yeah, right now it's just whether or not they're determined to be evil or not.
Exactly. So, I mean, once we get a bit more clear image of what they are, and more of them as well, that's going to make a huge difference, I think.
Yep, and then we got Chopper and Chewbacca.
Okay, now let's see. There's a lot of choices here. Let's see. I got a 33% chance of picking the right Chewie.
Oh, I wish you luck.
Got it wrong. Got it right.
There you go.
Second time's the charm, I guess. Those dropping in price. Chopper down to 1 point. That's, potentially huge, right? I mean, that free action even when stressed.
For 1 point, that's pretty good. I think somebody's gonna find some way to get that in there.
He's that you've got an extra point in an open crew slot. Let's put something in there. He was that before, but 1 point crew. If you got it, use it, right?
I don't know. If I flew Rebel, I would definitely try it somewhere. Chewbacca. Start of the engagement phase. Spend 2, repair 1 face-up damage card. Maybe we'll see it. 5-4. Maybe we'll see some Chewbacca in there.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a fun card. I mean, I myself prefer the Resistance Chewie, but preferences are different by each player.
All right, I think now we're all the way down to Magva and Luke Skywalker.
Indeed, we are.
Magma going up to 8, and Luke Skywalker from 30 to 26.
I think that's a drop, a good drop. I mean, Luke was a card you never really saw on the table.
Yeah, and they're just so scared of having that guaranteed shot, right? But from 26, you might actually see it at 26, depending on how these large ships go.
Did I get? Oh, I got it right. And Han, I'll throw up the other gunner card because we already talked about Magva.
Oh, yeah.
Magva, who went up a point. And now we got Han going up 2 points from 12 to 14. That's a good increase for what his ability is. Right?
Yeah, well, you get to shoot first, right?
Exactly. Han shoots first. Although, I don't know. Would that really be Rebel Han or should that be Scum Han? I mean, shouldn't Scum Han be the one that shoots first now?
Since
Since Rebel Han doesn't shoot first anymore. Right, George?
Yeah, I don't think he's watching this.
Well, if he is, Han shot first, and that's the only thing I will ever accept. Now,
Yeah.
here's the big one.
Oh, I'm so happy.
The
Good
Moldy
job.
Crow.
Good job, FFG. Way to go. Up 12 to 18 points, where it belongs.
You know, that's
That's
6
a
points.
50% increase.
That's insane right there. You know, I mean, yes, that action equity, right, being able to stock focuses early in the game for, you know, the bank of the Moldy Crow, since that's really the only bank in the game anymore. It is still a good thing to have. Adding that primary weapon, that 3 dice primary, that's definitely a big deal. You're still going to see the Moldy Crow every time you see a Hawk, because you really, flying a Hawk without the title is silly.
Yeah.
In my mind, because then you've only got a 2 dice turret, and that's why.
Well, you know, if you only want the ability, so
Yeah, I mean, if you're just flying it for the ability, then I can understand why you do that, but it's, you know, again, why?
yeah, I'm curious if we'll actually see it still with the Moldy Crow title. Yeah, we'll have to. Only time will tell. All right, on to my favorite faction.
Indeed, we are. The not so nice guys.
Not so nice guys. Yay, Alpha Squadron. Actually, let's do crew. Let's do our upgrades
Let's
first.
start with the upgrades. All right.
Yeah, because we have a whole chunk of that kind of in the midst of everything here. So, our crew, where are we looking at? We're looking at, let's pop a few of them up on the board here. So we got Grand Moff Tarkin and 7th Sister.
Nope, that's the pilot.
So close.
When you're not looking and you just type in 7th, and you forget there's a pilot now.
There we
There
go.
we go.
So Grand Moff Tarkin, a lot of these guys had a pretty decent drop. So Grand Moff 10 to 6, 7th Sister 12 to 9. Her ability could be really spiky too. Enemy ship 0 to 1 would gain a stress token. You may spend 1 force to have it gain a jam or a tractor token instead. I think that'll be, if only we could weaponize it. If only we could make somebody get stressed. But somebody's taking stress.
I mean, I think eventually you'll see that. You know, I'm sure there is a way to do it, but that's definitely going to have some potential. You know, especially on a blocker.
Yeah. And we haven't seen Tarkin out there yet, but I think somebody's going to unlock him. Like, somebody's going to figure out a way to make him work.
Oh, yeah. There's definitely some potential
so.
there. I mean, you know, there's potential there for Tarkin. That's for sure.
Yep. And then we got Moff Jerjerrod and Emperor Palpatine. Ooh, will you get the right one?
Will I get the right one?
Oh, I guess there's only one. I guess it's Darth Sidious or whatever for the coming stuff. So we got Jerjerrod. He's down 12 to 10, and Palpatine 13 to 11. So both a 2-point drop, and I'm happy with that. I think. I mean, I never really used Jerjerrod. I know we saw a few people use them for like some bomber swarms, for example. But Emperor Palpatine down. You know, Pal bases were really strong in 1.0. That would be pretty cool if we could see some more of these Pal bases come in.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential there. I mean, Palp's Palp. I mean, you know.
And he gets to do it after he responds to it. So,
I mean, he's certainly not a 1.0 Palpatine.
Yeah, no.
But it's still not a skill to scoff at, you know. I mean, you think, 2 crew slots, and it's not even like the original. What? Who wants that? But you know, it definitely has its potential, right? I mean,
And then we got Grand Inquisitor, and we have 5th Brother for the gunner. So Grand Inquisitor's down from 16 to 14. And then 5th Brother, 12 to 9. So Grand Inquisitor. After an enemy ship at range 0 to 2 reveals its dial, you may spend one force to perform one white action on your action bar, treating that action as red. I think that could be pretty strong. I don't know exactly where we would put it right now, but in a good order. You know who might be decent to take it is Oiken.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about that right now. I think I'm gonna have to try that. That sounds good.
So that's what happens. You start looking at cards and you're running things through your mind, and it's like, ooh, wait, that can work. We can make this work.
Yep, that as long as I dial in blue, then we're talking.
Yep.
And then fifth brother, the Phantom's new friend, best friend, only friend, basically, except for BT if you bring Vader. 9 points. I was already using this guy. He's pretty strong.
Yeah, there's definitely some potential there. I mean, changing that focus to a crit instead of a hit can definitely be powerful, especially on some of the lower agility, low shield ships.
Yeah, it's no more Vader, right? No more cloak and choke, but fifth brother, maybe he's our new best friend. Come on.
Thank God for the cloak and choke being gone. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, and then we could probably just jump to titles. We got the ST321 for the Lambda, and then the Dauntless title for the Decimator. Both at 6 points, dropping to 4 points.
Oh.
There they are.
That's better.
Perfect. Yeah, I think, again, just seeing these titles in play, 4 points is not that bad. And Dauntless is really strong. I think that Lambda title can be pretty decent as well.
Yeah, there's definitely some potential as far as the titles go, that's for sure.
Yeah. Nothing too crazy, 6 to 4. All right, now we can get into our ships, now that we kind of got all that out of the way.
See, that's what happens. You kind of throw them in the middle there, and it's like, wait, what?
Oh, you know what? 000. That's one that actually changed 3 to 5 points. Not too crazy. Just goes up a little bit, but just a little something extra. Again, you have to have Vader in your squad, so.
Yep.
All right, now we can go into our alphas.
Now we can talk alphas. All right.
We can just go straight to probably Lieutenant Karsabi.
Yep, he'd be the first named pilot there.
Yep. I mean, it's hard to really figure out how these guys are going to work right now. The lower guys seem to be able to take some ordnance, but Karsabi and Vendor, they're kind of pricey for. They're not too pricey. I mean, they're an Imperial ship, so we want everything dirt cheap, basically,
yes,
and want everything more dirt cheap. But a disarm token, take it away. Gain a stress token, remove one disarm. You can fire some cannons. It's hard. We don't have a lot of really good cannons that, except for HLC to line up. But maybe he could be flying around doing something else. And we're talking Karsabi's down 39 to 37, so 2 point drop.
Next we got Mage Fender.
Yep. And then Major Vinder is 39 to 37. I don't think there's too much to talk about these guys.
There really isn't. I mean, the Alpha class hasn't yet to find its way in 2.0. Towards the end of 1.0, they were looking dangerous.
Yeah,
but,
very dangerous.
Now that we've into 2.0, and the fact that the reload action is spread around multiple ships, it takes away that thing that made the Alpha class. It lost its je ne sais quoi. That's right. I'm busting out some French.
That's fine. Nice and Canadian. Yeah. We might see them on the board. I would like to see them on the board. They're a pretty good ordnance carrier now, considering our bombers went up. But we will definitely get there. So what's another ship that has seen?
I think the point, the discussion that we've had that makes it so lovely is the fact that the Lambda saw 0 change.
Yeah. Nope. Lambda's very fairly priced, and having that 2 attack out of the butt, It's good. I like that.
All right, now we move on to the TIE Advanced.
Yeah, V1.
That lovely Grand Inquisitor.
I love that. Oh, okay, I see it here. Yeah, Grand Inquisitor. Man, 58, 56, they're just scaling back those force powers, the force users a little bit. I think they priced them just a little bit too high sometimes.
It definitely it's not a huge drop, but it's just enough. It makes that it's 2 points, but it's 2 points. 2 points can make a difference, I guess. Is the gist of what I'm getting at here.
Yep, and he's pretty decent. He's not too bad for 56 points. That's not too bad flying around. So
No, he is not. Next up, Seventh Sister.
yeah, had a hard time trying to make her work. You know what she might be decent with though?
What's that?
Is you could put hate on her. She's got almost no hit points at all, but so if she gets hit, she kind of disappears. But with hate, maybe actually see that evade that ability come up a little more often.
Yeah, there's definitely some potential there.
It's just hard with the 2 attack dice. It's just so small.
It really is. I mean, we'll toss the Inquisitor up there for a half second because it's actually a thing.
I think because we can get Supernatural on them for 4 points.
That's a thing.
Yep.
That's a thing.
So that could be pretty special.
We'll toss the Baron up there simultaneously because it just makes our job a little easier.
Because we're looking at ships that are focus. They could barrel roll or boost, focus, then pull out and evade, and now you have a focused evade ship for. But I mean, if they're coming in range 1, focus evade for, or maybe you take a target lock. Maybe you focus target lock for 3 hits. I mean, it's kind of tough. They went from 40 to 38. We got the Baron 34 to 33. So they all saw a little bit of a decrease, but I don't know if we'll see much on the board. We'll see.
Yeah, we're just gonna have to wait and see. And we're gonna move on to the X1, the TIE Advanced.
Yes, Vader. 70 points down to 65. I think. Supernatural is very expensive on him.
Just a little bit.
Just a wee bit, yeah. 32 points. That hurts.
Well, we'll get to the variable ones at the end because there's definitely some discussion to be had there.
Yeah, that's a huge change for Vader. I think we're gonna see some. I think we'll still see Vader, especially at 65, because there've been some price drops with a few different things.
Yeah, that ability still makes him palatable on the board.
Well, Afterburners went down. Fire control system went down. Hate is looking pretty decent on him, as well as a few other force upgrades. You can mess around with, but now we're talking a pretty. You're talking about like a 70-point Vader, who's triple actioning, essentially, and then you got your hate to bring it all back. If he does get hit, you still got 3 evade dice. So.
Oh yeah, there's still definitely a lot of merit to getting Vader on the board.
Yep.
And all right, next up, Merrick Steele.
Yep, 50 to 46. Just a good drop, 46 points for him. I think these guys are sitting more around the like X-wing kind of point range.
They definitely are. I mean, they're comparable in HP, and really in every way except for, So it's definitely a much more comparable price value.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he's got a good ability, especially if we start seeing more large ships on the playing field.
Oh yeah, I mean, 3 and choose, that definitely is going to be seeing a lot more action, I think. Especially at that cost, right? I mean, 46 points. That's a good ship value for an already very sustainable ship on the board.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
All right, next up's the Ved Foslo.
Yeah, 47 to 45. Again, just trying to keep all those points in line. I don't know if we'll see Ved Foslo. I mean, his ability is it can be good, but I think there's just some better options there. But we'll see. And then onwards to Zyrtec, 45 to 42. Again, a niche ability. Depends on what the meta looks like, right? If we start seeing more, I mean, for Zyrtec, it's like you kind of have to see fewer ships on the board.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Zyrtec, the cost is nice, 42 points, but it's not. There's much better options as far as the X1 goes.
Yep, and we don't have to pull it up, but Storm Squadron, Tempest Squadron were 43 to 40, 41 to 38. So they're getting it drops all along the board. It was nice to see a drop in price. I think that puts them a little more at par, like I said, with the X-wing. So that'll be good.
Indeed. And we're gonna jump down to the Punisher.
Yep. Oh, Punishers! You never saw your light of day. Then you saw everything, and they took it away from you already.
It's the epitome of 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah, exactly. So Death Rain, 42 up to 44. So he doesn't have a huge point increase, but Trajectory Simulator went up to 10 points, which I think is one of the main things that makes him function. So, I mean, 10 points, 54, put a bomb on him. Now we're talking up around our 60-point range. Mm-hmm. So I think they're more appropriately priced now. You're going to pay to have these things on the board now. No longer are you basically getting them for free.
Yeah, especially Death Rain. I mean, he was a ship you were basically getting, ridiculously cheap. But let's talk about the big boy.
Yeah, 44 to 52. Strap a proton on him. Now you're looking at 64 for this guy. I think we still might see him because his ability to action economy is so strong. Because honestly, I would just fly him with and throw a proton torpedo on him and just be like, okay, go play. Go have fun.
I'll take that 63 points and smile. Thank you very much.
Yeah. No, exactly.
With that action economy, like you're still going to be seeing a lot of redline, but at north of 60 points, it makes it a lot more palatable on the other side of the table, I think.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then we got a cut list that went from 36 to 38. Not so big, but it's about the action economy for the other guys that really made them strong. So.
Indeed. Now we're going to talk defenders.
Oh yay! Oh jeez. I'm trying so hard to make these guys work.
Rexler.
I don't understand why they're still holding Rexler above these other guys. We're looking at like 84 to 82, right? Above meaning like they're dropping him more than so seeing wanting to have him get out there. Perhaps I don't know. The action economy is fantastic from him. But all the defenders, but I really wish that we could have seen a drop just like the E-Wings did. Maybe second time's the charm.
You know what? I'm perfectly content with what they did here.
Yeah, I don't want to see triples. I don't want to see triple defenders. I just want to see a defender. I used to love defenders.
Next up is the Countess, who went down 2 points.
Yep. Yeah, I think they all respectively went down 2 points.
86
to 84 for the Countess, right? We all know her ability. Not as strong for the second edition, but still fairly strong to be able to do that. Flipping around, still getting all your actions. And Colonel Vessery, 88 to 86, they really think this guy's really strong.
Yeah, I mean... It's it just the drops across the board were uniform just to keep that that uniformity in amongst the class, right? I mean, they decided who was worth more than who, and they just had to keep it that way.
I think they're just worried that with just a little bit of help, he triple actions.
Yeah.
So that's pretty decent. So it'll be a question whether or not anybody gets these out. I really hope that we see some of them, but still hard with the as to how expensive they are. You're talking already almost half your list for putting them in.
Yeah. Now I guess we jump to.
Yeah, nice to point out that all the TIE fighters stay the same, along with the X-wings. It's good that the baseline ships, X-wing and TIE fighters, are for the most part priced really, really well. I'm still looking at our kind of a control for the rest of the ships.
Yep. This is again. We'll point out Delta and Onyx defenders drop 2 points as well. Just to keep that 2-point drop uniform across the board.
Yep, absolutely.
Now we're gonna jump to the Phantom.
Yeah, here we go. So Whisper.
Oh, Whisper. Oh, Whisper went
52
up.
points to 54, and no longer has the crew slot. Only has the gunner.
Aw, shucks.
I know. Come on, fifth brother, pull through for us, buddy.
I mean, I said it right from the jump. As soon as we got 2.0 and we saw that, the Phantom had that crew slot, it was ridiculous.
Well, I mean, it was shown that way. Top ship for meta, like Imperial is seeing its day still. So I don't know how things change now with the points, but it was still really strong. You can still put in a really powerful Whisper.
You certainly can, and there's nothing. The problem wasn't Whisper's cost so much to me. Anyway, it was that crew slot. Being able to have Darth Vader on a Phantom. Come on.
Yeah. No, it wasn't very thematic either. Yeah, no, I agree. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Up by 2 points, and then we didn't see any changes with Echo.
No,
Echo is fantastic, and we saw actually a point decrease from the Imdar test pilot. So we don't need to bring that one up, but just a generic one down a point. So especially when there was some 4-ofs list with the Imdar, so we'll see. Or is it Sigma? I'm not too sure, but it's probably the Imdar.
We'll just have to wait and see. Now we're going to move on to the Bomber.
Oh no, it was Sigma because of the jukes. Oh, Bombers. You went up. Yeah. Tomac's not so bad, actually. 34 to 36. So he's only gone up 2 points. But he wasn't some of the more scary ones, right? Deathfire being next again.
Indeed.
32 to 34, right? Again, not one that we really saw. But these next guys coming up, they made a showing.
They had their moment in the sun.
Yeah. Major Reimer. Yeah, 34 to 38. Strap a nice advanced proton torpedo on him and watch him shoot at range 1. I mean 0.
Well, it drops by 1, so range 1. But a range 1 proton torpedo, no thank you.
No, I'm talking advanced protons.
Advanced
only range 1. So you shoot them at 0 to 2.
Yeah, I'd rather not have that image. Thank you.
Yeah, well, I didn't see it too much. It was kind of gimmicky, but when it happened, it was kind of fun.
It was the good gimmick.
Yeah,
it was that. If you pull it off, you're a hero. If you fail, you're a zero.
And then Jonas, main culprit here, 36 to 43. He was like the Howl runner of Bomber. So I think that's a fair price increase, 7 points. So I'm happy. I didn't want to see swarms of Bombers doing, as much as I love Imperials and stuff like that, I didn't want to see swarm of Bombers just tearing through things and that being a major problem to deal with. So
yeah. All right, now we're going to jump.
Well, we got the Gamma. Gamma goes up 30 to 32. Scimitar 28 to 30. So I think a fair increase at the bottom too, just all around.
Absolutely. Now we're gonna jump up to your favorite ship.
Yeah.
The Death
Yes. Oh, my buddy Rack. again pushing those ships to be put on the board. 88 down to 80. That's a nice point decrease. I like
It
that.
really is. And I mean, I can't argue with it. You know, even as don't get me wrong, I quite enjoyed not seeing the decimator on the table. But I mean, that decrease in agility, it makes it a lot more palatable to me. I mean, you know, I eventually now I think one of these days you're going to end up seeing a decimator versus a ghost in who can kill the other first competition.
Well, yeah, very possible.
That's a heavyweight bout if I've ever seen one.
Rack can still punch too. He hits. He can still hit hard with all the crew options and stuff like that he has. I saw recently actually a nice list by Adam, who flew him with Sloan and Tua, and I'm not too sure what else he put on him. Maybe Fifth Brother, maybe, but maybe it was just Sloan and Tua, and with a whole bunch of ties, and it was pretty funny. It worked out okay for him.
Yeah, it's definitely something I think we'll be seeing more of. We'll definitely be seeing more Rack on the table.
Yep, and then we got Oiken coming up, 84 to 78. Not as big as a point drop as Rack for 6 points, but I think the worry is his ability. I think they're just trying to be a little bit cautious there, because being able to shoot things at range 0 and not be shot back, that can be fun.
Oh yeah, there's definitely a lot of you're going to be seeing a lot more Oiken on the table now with that ability, with that cost and that ability, and he's going to be a thorn in my side in the future. I can feel it already.
Yeah, no, exactly. And then Patrol Leader, 80 down to 72. So generic goes down. Again, just to push to see these large bases get out there. I really hope they do. I just want everything to have their opportunity. So there's lots of options when you're making your lists, and not just kind of stuck with a few different choices. It's nice that they're opening up doors for other ships that aren't being seen play right now, and maybe we get them on the board, especially as we transition into adding more to First Order and Resistance down the road, and eventually, right? But first we see our Separatists and we see our Republic.
All right, and that was the last Imperial ship. So now we're going to take it over to the ladies and gentlemen who can be bought and sold. That sounds so much worse than it really is. But we're talking about that wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Adam. Oh, sorry, no.
Now, see, that's all well and good for the people that know him. But we're not talking about all Adams. We're referring to our Adam in our group of local pilots.
Screw it, all Adams.
let's not lump all Adams in there, okay? Because I mean, Adam West, Adam Sandler.
Okay, it's fair. It's fair.
There are some good Adams out there.
Right. So we're saying it's most Adams.
Yeah, we're saying our Adam is the exception.
Okay, well, let's get right into this. These IGs.
All right, we're just gonna pull up one IG because, well, they're IGs. They're all the same.
IG 88A, B, C, D, all point drops from 70, but now they actually have their own points. So for A, we have you can't pull more than one of these up on the board. They try to fit them all in. I guess we'd lose some of them. But
it gets a little more.
Yeah, IG 88. A 70.
More hinky, the more IG8, the more IGs that come out, the more awkward it gets because they stack on top of each other.
So A 70 to 66. It's a 4-point drop. We'll just throw up. People could stop it if they really want to read the ability, but pretty sure you got the app or YASB or yet another, it's so many different things you can do, right?
You get to see A while we talk about his brothers B, C, and D.
Yeah, B 70 to 68.
C went from 70 to 65, and D also went 70 to 65, keeping those two together.
Interestingly enough, you can field 3 of them at the same time.
You can now field 3 IGs. That's
Worth
terrifying.
trying. I think the best list there is still a couple of them with Forlom, but 3 of them at the same time.
That's terrifying.
Very terrifying. All right, let's move on from those guys.
Why would you put that image in my mind?
Right?
Oh God.
If you want to pop, yeah, they can look it up. Anybody can look it up. A, B, C, D. You can look it up. So you guys can.
We'll just kind of run this one in order, so we don't have to jump around. So we will be jumping from pilots to crews to skills to astromechs and all that kind of stuff, just because we're going from top to bottom on this list.
Yep.
So next up, Genius.
Genius. 0 points to 2 points. It's a fair increase in price, I think.
Yeah, I mean, a 0-point astromech. Come on now, that never should have been a thing.
Yeah, no, I think it's very scary that for anything to be 0 points. I think you should always be paying a cost for
at least one. I mean, nothing should be free. Nothing in this game should be free.
Here's that FFG. Nothing for free. Except, I mean, I'll take ships.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to give me free ships or free templates or things of that nature, I'll be happy to accept free. I don't want anything for free inside the game.
All right. And then into our Y-Wings.
Into the Y-Wing. And Cavill.
Cavill. I blew him up one time. Really good. Ask Jameson. If you ever see him around.
Wow, it's like a blood moon.
Yeah, he was just direct hit into direct hit. Just blew up. He was gone. But that's 1.0 I'm talking about anyhow. Cavill, 42, 43, he's up 1 point.
And Drea up 2 points from 40 to 42.
Yeah, I don't think these are huge changes. I think these are just fair ones. And then our next ones are bottom twos, the Cremora Goon and Hired Gun. We're talking about down for the Goon 32 to 31, Hired Gun 34 to 33. I don't think these are outlandish.
No, I mean, decreases are there. That's fine because they're generics. They're not, they're not going to set the world on fire.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're in a crew.
I wonder what's encouraging some of these changes for some of these like little crew. Like we got what do we got? Forlom Zuckus. So Forlom Zuckus down 1 point. Sure.
Yeah. Why not? Nothing too fancy. It is what it is.
Maybe just trying to fit things into lists a little better. Maybe things were getting a little tight around certain things. So.
Yeah, and next you got Sakatro and Jabba. Sakatro went down 1 point. Jabba went down 2 points. It's good. It's good. Again, it's one of those you wonder what the reasoning is, but it is what it is. And of course, we already covered Maul, so not gonna.
Yep. And we've already covered 000.
So now we're on to the escape crafts.
Mm-hmm.
Escape craft. The autopilot drone was the only one that did not see a change.
Yeah, no, you're right.
And
I think because the ability is just not there, it'll blow up eventually, right?
It will indeed, as long as it's not docked.
Oh, that's not the autopilot. That's not Lando.
No, Lando's the next one we're actually going to talk about. Because the autopilot didn't change.
Is that the autopilot, though?
No, that's Lando.
Yeah.
Why would I pull up the autopilot? We're not talking about it anymore.
Lando didn't change.
Lando changed. Lando went up 3 points.
No, that's.
I'm looking at the wrong Lando. That's escape craft Lando. That's wrong Lando, folks.
Well played. No, that's the right Lando. I think there's more of a ship than that picture there, Johnny.
Oops.
Lando.
Now we got the right Lando. Sorry,
there
Lando.
There we go.
Overstated
26 to 29. Sweet. And for what's that, after you roll dice, if you're not stressed, you may gain 1 stress token to re-roll all of your blank results. Sure.
It's nothing too fancy.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll see it, but I think L337 is the one that really people look at.
L3 is the one you see on the table, right? I mean, L3 or the autopilot as far as the drone goes up 4 points. That's
Yeah.
a big increase.
Yep.
And the Outer Rim Pioneer also went up 4 points.
Yeah.
And,
No, absolutely. You're right. Up 4 points for that one.
no changes in the Fang or the Fire Spray. Except for
Well,
Boba.
except for Boba. Let's look at Boba.
Poor Boba. Poor sad Boba. Went up.
He's not. I think
6
I think he'll just be forced. He'll be forced to make some choices. 80 to 86. He was doing really, really well. They wanted him to work.
Definitely.
They made him work. So, great brawler, getting in there, doing stuff. Where it really gets tricky is going to be his title. The titles that you can choose from is going to be encouraged to maybe make some different choices.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be intriguing to that, and I look forward to seeing whether or not Boba maintains his position as one of the Chief Scum pilots. But speaking of Chief Scum, we are, of course, talking about... Oh, I got a 50% chance here. Did I get it? I got it right. Han Solo.
Oh, yes. There he is.
You saw him everywhere.
Up through the roof.
You saw him everywhere. At 4 points, he was worth it. That red focus action, you didn't have to worry about focusing on a natural turn. If you spent a turn doing a focus with Han in the gunner slot, you did something wrong.
Yep. And now, but up 8 points to 12, I think, now you're making some decisions whether or not you're putting him out there or not.
Yeah, it's definitely, you're not going to be seeing him as an auto-include on ships with the gunner slot, and I think that's going to be interesting as far as the meta goes, because he was definitely all over it. And now we're on to the Hawk.
G1A Starfighter.
Was there... Oh, okay.
Yep, a few different changes with Gan Feinsman. 43 down to 41.
And Zuckuss.
Yep. And Zuckuss, 47 to 45.
I blame the crew earlier for making me skip over their names, thinking we'd already done them. That's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Yeah. A good solid Zuckuss. I wonder if we'll see Zuckuss out there as well. I know Forlom's so strong, but
yeah. I mean, I had a list with a Zuckuss in it.
Yep.
Didn't do what I wanted it to, though.
Now we can go to...
Now we go to the Hawk.
Yes. I don't think we saw too many of the different Hawks.
We really didn't. I mean, there was one...
Or the Bounty Hunters, the Scum and Villainy.
Yeah, there was one. And we'll get to
Is this guy 36
next.
down to 35 days?
He is 36 down to 35 for days.
Spice Runner, no change, right? And then we got...
the one that everyone ran. If you saw Hawk
Paylob
on the Scum side, it was Paylob.
Only increased by 2 points, but again, we always have to remember it's the Moldy Crow title that was really making them work, and that's what's gone up through the roof, right? So
yeah.
And then we got Torkel Mux, 36 to 38.
That's a name right there. Torkel Mux.
Yeah.
You know why he's a bounty hunter.
Because he was named that. Blame the parents.
All right, now we're going to move on to the Jump Master. And we are, of course, going to start with the brain-damaged one, Dengar.
The brain damaged one. I think this guy's going to make his way in there into the scene. I flew against Dengar already before his points change, and the double tapping ability is still pretty strong.
Oh yeah, and the fact that there's no reason not to, really. I mean, it doesn't carry any of the negative effects other double taps do. So it's definitely something I do think we'll be seeing quite a bit of. Next up, Tel Travera went up 10 points.
Yep.
Down 10 points.
Down 10 points. All the large ships, all these guys down 10 points. And, we didn't... The Punishing One title didn't change, right? It stayed at 8. So, basically, for Dengar, you're getting a 2-point... and now Punishing One costs 2 points, right? For Tel Travera, you're looking at a free Punishing One title and then 2 points to spare. So, over to Manaru.
There we
Again, we got a 9-point drop from 56 to 47. So now we're looking at a free punishing one title and 1 point to spare. So
yeah, there's definitely. I think you're definitely going to be seeing more jump masters on the table than you did before, just because of that fact, right?
yeah, and, contracted scout, you could fly 4 of them, 52 to 46.
Let's not go giving people ideas.
Yeah.
All right, now we're going to
spam toilet seats.
Now we're going to jump to the Lancer.
Yes.
And of course, Lady Asajj is where we're going to start.
Yeah, 84 to 76. That's an 8-point drop. Again, we're talking about that same kind of thing where we're seeing these large ships go down. And I wonder, people were trying to squeeze this one into lists already, so.
Yeah, it was one that I had a list I was playing with Asajj. So I think this is going to help make that much more cost effective than what it was.
Who was it? Asajj and what?
Asajj was actually in a couple lists I was toying with. There was one with Boba, and another one with Palob and Forlom, I think.
Okay.
Might have been someone else. Next up is Sabine. Dropped 4 points.
Yep.
Nothing too fancy with any of these. And Ketsu also dropping 4 points.
Yep. Some decent abilities. A nice drop in some of the points there. I think Asajj obviously is the biggest one. I think they priced the idea of Force users, like we said before, a little higher than what they expected. So big drop. I think that'll be fairly decent.
Yeah, and of course the Shadowport Hunter also saw a 4-point drop, and that's going to take us to the Interceptor.
Yeah, this was a surprise. Tons of drops on these guys.
Indeed, there was, and
so maybe we can just throw them up there because, play them if you want them. There might be a spot for. We got Sarasu up.
I think we'll touch on the ones that actually are relevant, like the one I just threw up there.
Oh yeah, Sunny Bounder.
Yep. Sarasu went down 3 points. Leighton also went down 2 points. Cartel Spicer down 1, but Sunny down 1 point. Sunny is the one that you'd see. Like if you were going to see an interceptor on the board, it was probably Sunny.
Yep.
Inaldra down 1 point. The Teresi Tansari point veteran down 1 point. Genesis Red down 1, and Quinn Jast also down 1.
Yep, absolutely. No changes in the TIE Fighter. Everybody gets a TIE Fighter.
Actually was.
Oh wait, was it? Oh yes, you know what? You're right. There was one with Captain Server.
Captain Seavor.
Seaver, yeah, there we go. That's the name.
Went up 2 points.
Yeah.
Now see, that's one that I'm confused by, because I just assumed that they would have done the guild tie with the new points already established.
Yeah, but maybe they're just keeping an eye on his ability.
That's possible. Going up 2 points. Maybe they just did it incorrectly initially. I don't know. It's FFG, so any reason is possible.
Yeah. And then we got next our beloved Space Tugs.
Quad Jumper. This one you saw, you had a bit more variety in who you saw. Constable Zuvio. Hands in the air if you know who he is.
Yeah, 33 to 35.
I'm sure you saw him on your local Walmart shelves.
Yeah. Yeah, everywhere.
Sarko Plank went up 3 points. As did Unkar Plut. Went up 3 points.
Yep. These guys we're seeing their time to shine. Interesting enough, the named ones didn't actually go up as much as the Jakku Gunrunner did.
I think that's just because of the fact, we touched on trying to straighten out the meta. And the Jakku Gunrunner is one that you saw in most scum lists just because of its price, right? 28 points for a tractor beam action.
Oh yeah, it was a steal.
It was absolutely a steal. All right, now we're on to the bomber.
Oh, Skirgs. How powerful they were.
Skirgs.
How you fallen. It's good. I like the idea that they're only on the scum now, too.
Yeah. I mean, it allows those... I understood it thematically, why they had it that way, just the same as I understood thematically why Boba in Slave 1 was Imperial.
Yep.
But it's about time. Put them in their class and leave them there.
Yep. Captain him 52 to 48. We might end up seeing him, He's got a decent point cost, 4 down.
Yeah, Lock Revenant down 3. And Soul Sixa also down 3.
Yeah. Soul Sixa, I think maybe we get some really cool bombing opportunities with Soul Sixa. I think that'll be really cool.
All right, we got the Star Viper. Only one changed across the Star
Viper.
I
wonder who that is.
But only 1 point.
Yeah, not even that significant. I think that's fine. 62, 63. Guri was pretty fairly priced. I think they nailed it. I guess they wanted to make somebody happy. I would have been fine with it staying the same.
Yeah, I don't really... It is what it is for that one. But titles, not really much change there. I mean, obviously we already hit the Moldy Crow.
Well, there are some significant ones,
No,
though.
I'm not saying they're insignificant. I'm just saying as far like the majority of them stayed the same.
Yeah.
It's a bit more like, I mean, you had the Slave 1 titles all changed.
Yeah, Slave 1, 5 down to 2. Maybe we can, because we can probably throw up a few different titles up there. There we go.
Slave be 1. Able to throw them up at the same time.
And then we got the Marauder. That was the big change. 3 up to 6. And then what's the other one? Oh, Andrasta. Andrasta 6 down to 4.
I don't know if we can fit all 3 of.
We're covering your face here. Let's go. Cover up Johnny's face. Go, Andrasta. There. Oh, there.
Kind of covering up my face.
Yeah.
A little bit of my face is covered, but that's okay.
I just like the idea that they're going to be encouraged to make some different choices rather than just the Marauder. So.
Yeah. I mean, and these were decrease on the Slave 1, decrease on Andrasta, increase on the Marauder. I
think we could totally see the Slave 1 title. I think that's awesome still.
Oh, absolutely.
Now that it's only 2 points too, that can be really tricky. I would like to see a tricky Boba rather than just a more damaging Boba.
And of course, we already covered the Moldy Crow. We don't need to talk about that one again.
IG 2000 though.
IG 2000.
2 down to 1. There you go. That'll help those triple brobots.
That's terrifying.
All the brothers, all the robots, all together.
Two robots were terrifying enough. Now you gotta have a third one?
Here's the interesting part. We're gonna see, there's been spoilers talking about the idea of IG, obviously, in the new Mandalorian show. I wonder what kind of ship we're gonna see him fly, and if that's gonna produce some different alt art ships coming out of for FFG when they do re-release the IG 2000.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah,
it's exciting, that's for sure.
Yep.
I like seeing the addition of these established people in the Mandalorian, but that's a discussion for an entirely different show.
Yeah.
And that's gonna take us to it's party time.
It's party time. Party bus. Lats Razzie. We'll just roll through these ones. 66 to 61.
66 to 61 for Lats Razzie.
For the YV666, I think this ship is going to get out there.
I definitely think so. I mean, I tried it at its current original value. I flew a list with the with the party bus. That's party bus.
Mm-hmm.
And the decrease definitely makes it a lot more palatable. That's for sure.
Yep.
Trandoshan Slaver down 2, and Moralo also down 2.
Yeah, and that was boxed down to 7 from down 4, 70, 66. So.
Indeed. And all right, that's the last scum. So now we're free to move on to Resistance. Not a whole lot of droppage there. Just the Star Fortress The
Yep.
NG.
Just to push to get them on the board.
Yeah, because you really didn't see that's a pretty uniform drop. Ben Teen went down 5. Venny went down 5 from 67 to 62. Ben was 68 to 63. Cat went from 68 to 59, down 5 points. The Cobalt Bomber was down 5 points from 63 to 58. And Finch is down 4 from 70 to 66.
Maybe we can just quickly throw them up there, just so that people can just see those.
And finally is Eden from 69 to 66.
Yeah.
So we'll kind of do a good old-fashioned, quick little...
Yeah.
How do you do with the
there you go.
Fortress? There's Ben. There's Eden. Ooh. There's Finch.
They're coming up smaller now, eh? You can fit more that way.
It might be just something with the resistance and the...
Good job, Resistance. Oh!
Yeah, apparently they're not as large. They're putting them up sideways. That's lovely.
Good job. Good job, programmers out there.
There we go.
There we go.
Oh, okay.
All
So
right.
you can fit 2 of the resistance on the board.
And another, just a quick interesting thing, we do have some scaling upgrades too that changed. So we got the BB-8 and the BB Astromech.
Well, I think we'll cover them with scaling, right? Because aren't they listed under the variable? Yeah, they're listed under the variable. So
we'll
do all the variables at once because they're a bit more explaining going on there.
Fair. Yep.
And that's it for resistance. So
Yep.
First Order.
Sweet. Right in there. My next of kin. Kylo Ren dropping a nice 6 points from 82 to 76. I think again just pushing that idea that you got these Force users and the power was just put up there a little bit higher than they ended up being. So 82 76 Blackout 70 64 Blackout. We could definitely see some Blackout going on. Recoil 63 to 59. An Avenger and First Order Test Pilot both 62 to 58, which is interesting because now Avenger is actually just as usable as the one just below it, right? So, and then Einar 56 to 52. So can't field 4 of them, but 3, that might be something. Especially if you field 3 with, I don't think you have enough room for Hux, but that'd be kind of cool still.
Oh, please, no.
And they lost their mod. They don't have a modification all across the board.
Oh,
Ooh.
Shucks.
And one more that actually changed. Null. You want to throw him up there for a second? Null, my poor buddy here. He lost the talent. We'll just have a moment of silence for him. It's really unfortunate.
Shucks.
I can't coordinate now at Initiative 7.
Shucks.
All right, but you know who can? Muse, and then he can pull off that stress afterwards. So that's nice. That's a nice guy. He might even be better. Maybe we would be encouraged to make a better choice here.
I hate Null. Null's a pain. Null is a pain in my Null. It just Erg Null Erg. All right, now we're going to move on to the generic stuff that changed. Yep. R2 Astromech down 2.
Yep, he's down to 4 from 6 to 4. You know what I really would have liked? I've seen R2D2 down to 4 as well. He's limited, right? He's unique. You can't bring more than one, so.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with your logic.
Yep.
All right, and R5 dropped 3.
Yep.
Dropped 4, excuse me. Down to 1 point for the R5 Astromech.
Interesting ones coming up. Jamming Bean.
Indeed.
It is now free. So.
Now, we discussed this earlier about my disdain for free things. I hate it. I don't like free. 1 point at the minimum for everything.
You know what's going to be funny for design purposes is if it's still not taken and it's free.
I mean, I think we'll see it out there just because of the fact that it's free and a lot of ships, you just don't stick something in the cannon slot because what's the point?
I was talking a lot about with a few different guys, it's hard to really choose some of these options because sometimes damage is more relevant contrary to these abilities.
Oh, for
I,
sure.
I think a really cool way would have been to produce the effect first, and then once the effect happens, the rest turns into damage. So, for instance, if you were for some of them, right, it would make sense. So, it was a tractor beam, for example. If you were shooting a ship, a large base ship, then you would have to whatever you put into it. If you actually were able to tractor it, then the leftover turns into damage. Right? So if you use the tractor beam on a small base ship, you tractor it, you only need one, the rest of it goes into damage. So then you're kind of getting that still the damage usefulness out of it, right?
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think that would be a good way to change the tractor beam and even the jamming beam as well, right? You know, instead of just inflict that many, you know, you can, you know, you remove the tokens in play, right? Because that's what you're trying to do, right? If you use the jamming beam, you're trying to strip a ship for somebody else.
Yeah. And nice change though. Jam, now the person who jams gets to choose who loses what instead of the player who gets jammed.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a big difference.
No more of this silliness where you target lock an asteroid and then you're like, oh geez, I guess I lose my lock on my asteroid.
Yeah, it's some shenanigans. Some shenanigans.
Yeah. Perceptive Copilot coming up. That's a nice change. 10 down to 8.
Absolutely. I mean, we already talked about the perceptive a little earlier, and as a potential use for it, I think that makes it even better.
Yep. We got another couple of gunners that are going down. I mean, that's a crew, but we got gunners coming up. Agile Gunner, 10 to 8. And Veteran Turret Gunner, 8 to 6. This will help put these upgrades into hopefully some play. Even though Agile Gunner was, I mean, you can only fight on the Falcon, Lando's Falcon, but
yeah, it definitely opens up the board for being actually to be able to use it a bit more. I think that decreased cost, because I mean, I know that's why I never used it. It was too expensive.
Yeah.
You know, it was a useful effect, absolutely, but it was just too darn expensive.
Yeah, for 10 points, yeah, it was hard.
All right, now we got missiles. Not a lot of change, but some changes on some ones that we're seeing a good bit of play in certain list types.
I don't know where you would have seen those.
Yeah, I don't know where I would have seen them either. The barrage rocket and the homing missile actually are the two that saw the increase.
Increase, yeah.
The barrage rockets went up 1 to 7, and the homing missiles went up 2 to 5.
Yep.
You know, it's an intriguing cost for the homing missiles, just because of that variance in what you do. Right? Do you take the one, or go for dice variance?
Yep.
It's intriguing. You know?
Yeah, homing missile can be pretty sneaky, especially against aces.
Oh, absolutely. All right, mods.
A plate of plating. Thanks to our bombers and a few different things. 4 up to 6. Maybe just trying to keep it there. I like the next one though. Afterburners, 8 down to 6.
Yeah, it's an intriguing one there.
Vader likes it.
Oh, Vader likes a lot of things he shouldn't like. All right, now we've got the munitions failsafe, which went down to 1. I actually like that.
Yeah, sure, why not?
It just makes it a bit more palatable to drop it in when you have those points.
Yeah.
And the static discharge vanes up 2.
Yeah. Engine upgrade, though.
Well, again, that's a variable. We'll get to that one.
Oh, yeah, true. I just want to talk about them. I just really, really want to.
We're almost there. We're almost there. We've only got sensors and a few other things left to go. So first off, we got advanced sensors.
Yep.
Up
8
2
to 10. Up 2. I think that's fair. It's pretty powerful ability.
The collision detector up 1 to 2.
Yep. Also another really powerful ability. So I mean, you could just not dodge rocks and save six. I mean, dodge rocks and save 6 points, but the options that you could just move through them, something.
Okay, folks, sorry about those technical difficulties there. You'll notice now that it's just my lovely face you can see. Unfortunately, we're having some issues that are preventing you from seeing Andrew's face as well. But that's okay. Mine's the prettier face anyway.
Right. I'm just a force ghost now. I can guide you through the force.
What's that, Master Andrew?
Yeah, exactly.
Alright, so this is where we left off. Fire control and trajectory simulator. These two... Fire control didn't see much of a change. Down 1 point, so you might see it a bit more on the table. That's actually a good thing for a card like this. But trajectory simulator, that's a big jump. 7 points from 3 to 10.
Hey, Vader likes fire control system. All the tie advance.
They, they,
Go.
they do indeed. I like the trajectory simulator going up, though. I mean, that's a card that 1.0 brutalized. Like, it was one of those ones in 1.0 that if you saw that on the other side of the table, you knew you were gonna have a rough day.
Well, even 2.0, we just finished seeing Redline and Death Rain blowing everything up in the meta scene for a little bit. So especially Redline, right? Trajectory Simulator for 3 points was a that's such a good steal when you're throwing these bombs right in the middle of everything.
Oh yeah, I mean it was a great ad for any bomber that had that sensor upgrade. But I mean, adding those 7 points that definitely puts it more in line with other things that it should be because it is, it's a poop disturber. There's no question. Launching those bombs out in front of you, 5 speed. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, well,
It's hard to avoid, especially in a formation.
yeah, it's meant to control the board, and that control really allows you to set a bunch of other stuff up. So
Yeah, it definitely does. All right, what do we got next? We got composure.
yeah, composure went down by one. Okay, I don't think we haven't really seen it yet, and I don't know if we will see it, but it's a good handicap for people who, uh, well, for people who are wanting to, starting out, if they screw something up, you get some composure, you get focus. So okay.
It's definitely good for those more risky pilots. The risk takers. Those ones that like to do the pseudo measure on range, even though they know it's not gonna, you know, complete or the barrel roll. You're in a tight spot with the barrel roll. It would if you could pull it off, it'd be the best maneuver you could make. But you're in a jam. But composure's there to bail you out, so you still at least have your mod.
Yeah,
Debris Gambit went down a point, up a point. That's
which is fair.
yeah. I mean, it's a good little upgrade to have. hmm. Oh, it's a good little upgrade to have when for certain ships, but you know, it is what it is. A 1 point upgrade there.
Well, on top of that, I mean, we're also providing an evade result or an evade action for ships that perhaps don't even have the evade action, right? So,
Yeah, that's a big deal on ships like that. That's for sure. All right, next we got Juke and Lone Wolf.
yep. Oh, Juke.
Oh,
Hey, we can't let the Phantoms have a nice day. Another point up, one for Juke, and then Lone Wolf. That surprised me. I didn't really see too much Lone Wolf out there, but I guess it has potential. And I was using a little bit. It can be pretty strong. So yeah, up 1 point. Okay,
yeah,
sure.
it's one of those. It's good in lower quantity of ships, right? Or like a big ship that you're gonna fly off on your own. So it makes sense to have it in certain lists, and that extra point, that's fine. It's not gonna cripple your lists if you were already using it, unless you were already at a 200. Then you're kind of shafted. But if you were rocking a lone wolf plus a bid, you're fine. All right, next up we got trick shot and targeting synchronizer.
Yep. Trick Shot was basically free. It still is basically free. Such a good upgrade for so many different ships. Sure, 2 points it is.
Yeah, I mean it's still Obviously the Falcon is the host of the trick shot. Most frequently, you hardly ever see a Falcon on the table without trick shot, just because it is such a cheap upgrade and it works so well. Especially with Han's native pilot ability.
Well, hell, you got an EPT, you don't know what else to put in it. Bam, let's throw trick shot in just in case we happen to have a shot behind a rock.
Exactly. I mean, especially if you're rocking debris clouds instead of asteroids, or it'll be good. I think it'll be especially good against the ion clouds upcoming. That's that's gonna be an interesting one. You land on an ion cloud with your opponent having trick shot, and you put yourself in a pickle.
Yeah, landing on it. If I mean, getting that strain, losing defense, and then shooting through and getting hit. Yeah, that could be pretty bad.
Especially if you happen to be in that range one bubble, that could be very dangerous for some smaller ships. Definitely,
Yep.
definitely a combo that I will be looking at rocking in the future. We're gonna
No
leave.
pun intended.
Yeah, we're gonna leave the torp to the end because I'm sure we have a lot of things to say about that, both good and bad. So we're gonna jump to the turrets, the dorsal turret and the ion cannon turret. Both saw a 2 point decrease for the dorsal turret and a 2 point decrease for the ion cannon turret.
Yeah, I think we could definitely see the dorsal turret coming out, especially with that Y-wing drop. I don't know yet about the ion cannon turret. It's hard to say, okay, I'm gonna take this modification of that ship without doing much damage instead of damage. So
Yeah, I mean it's more of a control thing, I think. If you want to try and if you're flying a Y swarm, having one with an ion cannon turret to control where at least one ship's going to be on the next turn is always going to help you out. But I mean, I'm not going to be rocking a 4Y swarm with ions on all of them. That's not going to happen. But having one in your list, not a bad thing. And at only 4 points, it's a much more palatable cost, at least in my opinion.
yep.
And all right, here's the big one. This is the one that most people both wanted and didn't want, mostly because you were either using it or not using it. And that, of course, is the proton torpedo. 3 points from 9 to 12. I mean,
Yeah,
there were lists with it at 9 points that were already kind of squeaking in just at 200 or just under 200, and now you're definitely not going to be seeing the 3x's with protons anymore.
yeah, that's the thing, eh? The point increase just pushes the limit to making it a little more difficult to choose it, right? I
Yeah,
mean, that was old Supernatural, right? And Supernatural putting 12 points on a ship was still like, ooh, I don't know. So it's still that same deal, putting protons 12 points. I think that's fair.
I mean, even as a player, I'm a rebel player. I fly X-wings, so I've used my fair share of proton torpedoes, and I can understand the jump. I mean, do I like it? Heck no, because it's gonna be you can't rock that three. I myself, I was a Thane Wedge, Luke. You can't rock those three with the protons anymore without making a sacrifice somewhere else. Other
Good.
places you can make that sacrifice and still get in under the 200 point limit, sure, but it's going to take away a certain effectiveness in your list somewhere else, and I like that. It's making you have to choose, no more of these ridiculous number of ships rocking protons, and I like that, for balance.
That's fantastic. Hey, can we pull are the protons actually on screen where they are supposed to be? Because it looks like they're over to the side a bit.
Oh, they are indeed. I guess that's what happens when you got one up there instead of. There we go, a proton torpedo.
Yeah, perfect. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
They stack on top of each other nice, but leave one out there and you got yourself a problem. Well, that's all right. Since we're going to be going into ones anyway. All right, that was the last generic, and to wrap this show up, we're going to go over variable cost upgrades. That's a new thing on a large scale. And you had it already in your shield upgrade and your hull upgrade, but now you have it in a lot of other places that you didn't have it before, and it's going to be interesting to see where these things go. So we're going to start off with BB-8, the Astromech. He's going from...
Well, he went from 8, and now he's variable, so he goes now 2 to 8, depending on your pilot skill. Oh, sorry, initiative.
You know, I don't mind this so much. I mean, you know, even your high skill pilots, you know, Poe, it's still an 8-point upgrade on Poe.
Yeah, I don't think it changed.
It
It just
really
got better,
doesn't.
actually, depending on who you have it on.
Yeah, it helps you out with some of the lower initiative wings, and I like that. I like that a lot. You know.
Man, BB-8's charging Poe a price to be with him in the cockpit, eh? Jeez, we thought BB-8 and Poe were just best friends, but no, he's charging premium price for Poe to have him around.
Well, I mean, in BB-8's defense, Poe is probably the most likely pilot to get him shot at in a bad
That's
way.
true.
I mean, Poe's gonna get him in a jam. All right. Well, we got the BB-8 Astromech going up, but also going up to a variable cost is the BB Astromech, just straight BB Astromech, who
Yeah.
started out as a 5-point, and now he ranges from a free upgrade to a 6-point upgrade.
I think the free upgrade is interesting. That's a really very interesting point set, right?
It's interesting, but I mean, right now it's kind of moot because I don't think we have any 0 initiative ships that it would apply to.
Uh, oh yeah, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh yeah, true.
So I mean, you know, maybe we'll eventually see a null type ship on the X-wing side that might be applied. I think it's just more for the scale.
Just so they can have talent and then strip it away.
You know, I like this. You know, again, the variable cost. I like it. 2 points less than BB-8 on a Poe. I'm okay with that. You know, it's an increase, but it's a palatable increase for the high PS ships, which are probably not going to be rocking that anyway. If you're a high PS ship, you're probably just going to take that, you know, those extra points and put the BB-8 on there.
Yeah. We should probably do all of them except for Super. Leave Super for the last.
We'll leave that one for the end because that's the big one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next up, squad leader. Which.
Oh no.
Uh,
It's all right. Muse is better anyhow. It's a secret. We just didn't know it yet.
Squad leader went from a fixed 4 points to a 2 through 14 point grid. I like it. I mean, it makes sense to me to do that. You know, going from 2 through 14, I'm okay with that. Yet at the same time, it's almost too expensive for what it's supposed to be, right? I mean, your squad leader is gonna be a high PS, a high initiative ship. So I don't know if the balance strikes itself out. I understand it, but I don't quite. It's not thematic. I guess is kind of the point. You know, the scaling for points there is non-thematic.
You just pay the price. You know they had to get rid of it for Null though, because Null is tentatively a 0 initiative, right? So squad leader would have been 2 points on him. That would have been beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it is what it is there. Next up is Prime Thrusters. Another new upgrade that is now getting a variable. It started out at 8, and now it runs from 4 through 10.
Yep, yep. Really helps out those higher pile skill initiative pilots that want to keep their barrel rolls and boosts going even if they're stressed. But you know, it could see some play. Definitely. I mean, it's powerful. It's strong to keep your maneuverability up. So.
It definitely is good for that. I mean, again, that's another one. You're most likely going to see that on, you know, the prime example of what it came with, the RZ2 A-Wing. So you're still going to be seeing it on lower initiative ships, but the increased again, it's not so bad. I mean, even at a man, here we are 6 months later and still can't get that out of my head. A higher initiative ship, it's only 2 points up from what it used to be. If you're 6, so that's not an overly dramatic increase compared to the one we're saving till the end.
Yep. No, I agree.
And the only other change in variable cost was the engine upgrade.
I wish I had a large ship that had boost. Decimator, I'm looking at you, buddy.
I mean, as a Falcon flyer, a frequent Falcon flyer, I like this. I like this a lot, dropping down 2 points from 9 to 7. I like that a lot. It definitely is a much more. I'm much more likely to pull it in at 7 than I was at 9 because I wasn't rocking it at 9. I'd run those red boosts and not care.
Yep.
But,
I think even with Lando, I still don't think he cares.
but yeah, I mean, but being able to rock that now at 7 points, that gives you 2 points to play with elsewhere, is a good. That's your trick shot right there.
Yep.
Right. So I mean, you're already at a net 2 point gain. So I really like that a lot. And this is it. This is the one that has caused the most hubbub. Supernatural reflexes went from a 12-point ship. We're going to run through these in order. We're going starting at pilot skill 0 up through pilot skill 6. 4 points at 0. 4 points at 1. 4 points at 2. 8 points at 3.
Count Dooku.
16 points at 4. 24 points at 5. And 32 points at a pilot skill 6. Supernatural reflexes, Vader, R.I.P.
Oh, Vader. We'll miss you so much. It was super, super Vader, but it's okay. Hate. I think hate's a pretty good replacement for you, buddy. It's okay.
There's always going to be ways to work around Vader getting that supernatural reflexes and losing it. But I think another ship that's going to be hurting for this is Kylo Ren.
I don't. You know what? I'm still gonna fly him. I'm still gonna
I
fly
mean,
him with 24
of
points.
course, you're still gonna see ships flying it, but that going from 12 points, you're already just doubling the cost there. That's a lot of points you're gonna have to pull from somewhere else if you weren't rocking a big bid.
Now I am the only Kylo. Kylo will be the only super ship. Take that. You'll never see him coming. You can all suck it.
It's there's been a lot of changes here. I'm excited to see where we go. We're both up here, Canadian, north of the border, so we got our system open here at the end of the month. I'm excited for that. It's going to be fun to see these in effect at a big tournament, which I believe might even be the first big one post change. I don't know of any between now and then. I mean, there might
Yeah,
be.
for Canadians, yeah, that's the biggest one I think
Well,
so
I mean,
far.
even down south of the border, I don't know of any big ones. I mean, there's of course going to be that events, but I don't know of any. I don't think there's a system open between now and then.
No, I think we're the first.
So it's going to be interesting to see it on a large scale in a big tournament. I'm excited for it. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be my first large tournament. I expect to rock a goose egg and not
Yeah.
in the losses column.
Well, Johnny, I wish you luck, buddy.
Oh, I wish myself luck, but I figure I've decided that I'm gonna go in expecting 0 dubs and celebrate like I won the whole tournament should I get one.
Well, there you go. Perfect.
So
That's a good idea.
go in with no expectations and see how the day takes you. Still gotta figure out what list I'm gonna fly, but I got a few weeks. But all right, so to wrap this up, let's do a little something fun here. What is your favorite upgrade, favorite cost change, and your least favorite cost change? Not including supernatural reflexes, because that's too easy for you.
My least favorite, sorry, my favorite cost change is Decimator, because I'm happy to get him out on the board. And my least favorite cost change is, ooh, um, one's a tough one. 'Cause I have to go with Supernatural. I was having so much fun. Um, no, you know what? My least favorite change period is Null just losing his talent. That's fine. That's it. There you go.
Okay. For me, my favorites. You'd think it would be the Falcon, but it's not. It's the increase in the Moldy Crow title. That's my favorite because it was such an easy add for every Hawk that now you're actually going to have to uh, think and maneuver and try and figure out a way to get those extra points, since that is not, it's not a cheap upgrade now. I mean, 18 points, that's big.
Yeah, that is huge.
On top of an increase in the actual Hawk itself. I love it. I'm happy to see it for balancing purposes. My least favorite, probably the lack on the ghost. I was a ghost flyer in 1.0. I make no bones. I started playing a year ago. The meta said Fen Ghost was the thing, so that's what I fell into, and I flew
Oh,
it
so
well.
disgusting.
But dang it, I flew it well. I
Hmm.
mean, I had a string of podiums over the summer as a rookie. I'll take that.
Yeah,
If we didn't have a rookie win a tournament, I'd probably would have classed rookie of the year. But we had a rookie win a tournament, so I can't take that crown.
for sure.
But
No, you did
that's my
well.
least. Yeah, it's a fun game. I'm glad I found it. I really am. But all right, folks. It is time for us to sign off. We hope you've enjoyed this bundle of fun. Um, we want to thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, share, pass it around. Click the bell. Okay, click the bell. Thanks for watching. I'm Johnny V,
I'm Andy D.
and we'll see you next time.